From JBS Studios in Greater New York, this is the JBS News Update with Teisha Bader.
I'm Teisha Bader with the JBS News Update for Wednesday, April the 14th, 2021. Israel once again came to a standstill this morning as a 2-minute memorial siren sounded across the country at 11 a.m. local time, marking Yom HaZikaron, Israel's memorial day to its fallen soldiers and victims of terror. The official state ceremony then began at Jerusalem's Mount Herzl, attended by bereaved families and Israeli dignitaries, including Israel's President Reuven Rivlin, Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu, Chief Rabbis Yitzhak Yosef and David Lau, and the IDF Chief of Staff, Lieutenant General Aviv Kochavi, among others. Netanyahu addressed the somber gathering, saying, "Together we stand united and hurting alongside all of Israel's citizens." Military cemeteries across Israel were filled with bereaved families paying their respects to their loved ones. Yom HaZikaron concluded this evening, giving way to Yom HaAtzmaut, Israel's 73rd Independence Day, transitioning the country from grief and mourning to celebration with the annual torch lighting ceremony. The chosen lighters this year included Israel's oldest ever torch bearer, 102-year-old Yemenite Jew Yaish Giat, representing the pioneering and influential immigration of Yemenite Jewry to Israel. Giat is a Torah scholar and spice shop owner who dispenses natural remedies and help to his community. He told Ynet last week, "When I raise the torch, I will wish that our nation love one another, that people will respect one another for the benefit of the land of Israel." Looking now at some other news, the City University of New York Student Senate, the USS, voted against a resolution on Sunday to adopt the IHRA's working definition of anti-Semitism, over its including anti-Israel speech and activity that goes beyond standard criticism in the definition. The Allgemeiner reported the Senate also voted down another resolution from the Jewish Law Students Association and Students for Justice in Palestine, calling to remove the anti-Israel part from the anti-Semitism definition. The Jewish Journal cited former CUNY professor Kenneth Marcus, who heads the Louis Brandeis Center, saying that the IHRA working definition is now the international standard for defining and combating anti-Semitism. In rejecting the IHRA definition, together with a risible alternative, CUNY's Student Senate has allowed itself to be used by those who are intent on undermining the international campaign to combat Jew hatred. And a group of Jewish students at Michigan State University withdrew a bill adopting the IHRA definition that had already passed last month. This after intense backlash from members of the Students United for Palestinian Rights, among others. Meanwhile, after a series of anti-Semitic incidents at the University of Illinois at Urbana-Champaign, the Forward reported that the school is now opening a new dormitory specifically for Jewish students to be run in partnership with the local Chabad. The dorm will also have a Chabad center on its lower level and kosher dining hall. Illini Chabad Director Rabbi David Teichtel told the Forward he hoped this would help give Jewish students on campus a sense of safety and security. While Jewish organizations here in the U.S. marked the transition tonight from Yom HaZikaron to Yom HaAtzmaut, the leaders of the Conference of Presidents of Major American Jewish Organizations, Diane Laub, William Daroff, and Malcolm Hoenlein wrote, "Today we commemorate a modern miracle. 73 years ago, the State of Israel was declared in the ancient homeland of the Jewish people, and then successfully defended against all odds. For more than 7 decades, Israel has been a thriving, vibrant democracy and a light unto the nations. As we celebrate another birthday of the world's only Jewish state, we remember those who made the ultimate sacrifice in service to it, and pray that we never take this hard-won sovereignty for granted." And we have special programming here on JBS tonight for the eve of Yom HaAtzmaut for Wednesday, April the 14th, including at 7 o'clock, Mark Golub speaks with Dani Dayan and Shachar Azani on the eve of last year's Independence Day. Then at 7:30, Kehilat Jeshurun, Central Synagogue, and Park Avenue Synagogue come together to mark the transition from Israel's Memorial Day to its Independence Day, with a program in partnership with AIPAC and the FIDF, including moving personal testimonies, words of inspiration from rabbis, and songs of remembrance and celebration from cantors. That's followed by David Ben-Gurion reading Israel's Declaration of Independence, and a performance by Ron Eliran. At 9, Mark Golub sits down with fifth-generation Sabra Rochelle Ettingen, who recounts her experience as a young girl growing up in Israel during the birth of the state. At 10, Shalem College's Daniel Gordis speaks about the high price of Jewish statehood. And coming up next, it's Thinking Out Loud. And that's the JBS News Update for Wednesday, April the 14th, 2021. I'm Teisha Bader. Stay healthy, stay well.